Hello and welcome to HRBC show called Let's Talk. So today we have our guest is Roger Lee with at Coastal Realty.
Correct.
And we're gonna find out a little bit, these mysteries about buying and selling houses and property. So welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Would you like to tell us a little about yourself?
All right. Well, my name is Roger Lee. I grew up in Virginia Beach. Went to high school here, college here, and I got my master's degree as well. I've been in the fitness industry for quite some time. During that time, I bought and sold homes on a personal basis since 2001, and I decided to get my license in 2020.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So can you tell us what exactly does your company do?
Oh, well, the company. Let's talk about the company. First, there's the Marching No More Real Estate team. It's myself and a couple other agents have got together underneath this brokerage called At Coastal. So everything is done through At Coastal, right? But we created our own brand called Marching No More. And it's about more giving, more community, more prosperity. So we're actually a company trying to expand just to help the community out, first off. And we happen to be real estate agents at the same time. So we're here to help people. We do a lot of work with nonprofits, with the school systems out there. We do a lot of volunteer work out there. So, and then if somebody happens to want to purchase, or if they decide to that they need to sell their home, we help them out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when you say y'all help the community, what exactly are y'all doing in the community?
So we team up with nonprofits. I'll give you one example. Star Haven. Star Haven is a small group out in Suffolk, and they deliver food to the homeless. They we're helping straighten up a home right now, so homeless people can actually live in that home. And it's night, it's warm inside there during the winter time, and they have an air conditioning in the summertime. And then we just clean it up, and we find different homes with new clients all the time. So we just Star Haven's been out since 2019, I believe, going into 2020. And it's only 7 of them. And they go out and they deliver food to the homeless, and it's 7 of them total. And then from time to time, myself and the team will go out there and help them out. Even some of my family members will help out as well.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So when a person decides they want a house, what are the next steps? They be like, oh, I really want a house today.
Well, let me tell you. The idea of deciding to buy a home, that's a big step. That's the big step. The main step after that, once you decide you want to buy a home, is have a strategic consultation with myself. And we just talk about you. We talk about what your goals are. We talk about your family. We talk about where you work, and we talk about the house you want to live in and the certain circumstances you're currently in. Meaning, we'll speak on credit check. We'll speak on how to actually put an offer on the house, what to expect during a home inspection, what it means to have the right type of appraisal, and all the things that we do as a team to represent you as the client. So we take it step by step through that strategic consultation, but the hardest step is actually showing up for the first consultation. And it can be overwhelming. I've seen some people they get sweat in their hand, and they get nervous because when you sit there and say, well, first you sit and say $250,000 house, which is $250,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal, right? But you know what scares them? 30-year loan. Yeah, what are we going to do for the next 30 years? Am I committing to this for the next 30 years? It's a big step. But realistically, we have found that in this area, the Hampton Roads area, people usually move within 5 to 7 years. And when you decide to buy a home, it's not even about just buying a home. It's about generational wealth, tax benefits. It's autonomy. You can do what you want. You know what I mean? And so I learned that when I was 20, let's just say 20, I think I was definitely 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I purchased my first home about 6 miles from here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. This is 2001, 2005, I sold it. And the equity, I had no idea. I had a lot of money in equity in that time.
Yeah.
And I used it to pay off my bills, paid off student loans, did a whole bunch of fun stuff with it. Yeah.
I bet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, how important is a credit score when trying to get a house?
The credit score is worth more than the dollar.
Mm.
So you can have $300,000 in your pocket, but if your credit score is below 600, yeah, it's worthless.
Mm.
It's worthless. You have nothing. You haven't gained anything. So I try to explain it like this to everybody. Your credit score is the lifeblood of how valuable you are. You're borrowing money from somebody.
Mhm.
And well, I explained to this young lady the other day. I said, Nina, let me borrow $5,000 from you, right? And you give it to me. And I promise you that over the next 100 weeks, I'm going to pay you $50 a week, right? Is that 500? Yeah, that's right. And I give you $50 a week. For the first 10 weeks, I get you $50 a week. But on week 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I don't pay you a thing. And you call me and I don't answer the phone, right? But then all of a sudden, I disappear.
Mm.
You're like, I don't know what happened with my money. I don't know where Roger Lee is. Well, now, 2 years later, come back and say, Nina, can I borrow $10,000? I promise to pay you $50 a week for the next 200 weeks, right?
Mm.
Are you going to give me that money?
Of course not.
Absolutely not, because I'm not paying you back.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that's how you decrease your score. That's one way to decrease your score. It's just by not paying your bills. Not it's a promissory note. You're promising to pay people back when you borrow money. And if you don't do that, your credit score goes down. So what are the chances of you getting a $100,000 loan, a $10,000 loan, or even $1 million loan when you're showing people that you don't pay people back,
Mm.
right? So and then you got to think when you're purchasing a home, you're not the only person trying to get that home, right?
Mhm.
So let's say there's three other people that's trying to get a home, and their credit score is 700, 750, and yours is 580.
Mm.
Huh? And on your credit score, it shows that you have late payments, you have no payments, and it's beyond 6 months, 180 days, right? Do you think the person that is trying to sell you that home is going to go through with you, or the person that has a credit score of 750 and have no late payments, right?
Yeah.
So what does it matter that you have $100,000 in your pocket?
Mm.
It doesn't, because your house is worth $300,000. You still got to borrow money, so no one's going to give you that loan.
Mm. Okay.
So it's a lot of people they're misinformed about credit as well. Me and my team, we actually have a credit solutions company that actually helps you build your credit. So and life happens. Life happened to me. My credit went down too. I was going through some hard times, got a little divorce, a little tiny divorce, and things happened, right? And I had to start all over. And when I started all over, I went well below my means. I finally got a job, went well below my means, and I went to the bank and I said, Bank, here's $300. Give me a credit card.
Mm.
I said, okay, we'll give you a credit card, but you're borrowing against yourself. You're not borrowing against our money,
Mm.
right? So for the next year, let's say my credit score is like 500. Just throw it out there. For next year, I took that $300 and I used that credit card. Only $60 a month is what I use. I stayed under 30% usage.
Mm-hmm.
Then I paid it all off, month in and month out, right? The bank noticed my good behavior because they just saw that a year later. My price went from $300. Now I'm borrowing this bank up to $1,000. 2 years later, it's up, it's $15,000. 3 years up, it's at to $20,000.
Mm.
But the rule of thumb is I stayed under 30%.
Yeah.
So when I had $1,000, I spent no more than $300. I paid it off. And the misinformation that we get is, hey, we get a credit card, let's max out, let's get all the things we need. The credit card's there to benefit you as long as you stay under 30%. And those people, I see it all the time. 3 out of 5 people go through this, where they spend all the money and then say, I'm gonna pay it back without having the money in their account.
Mm.
They don't know. They know their check comes in every 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is there really a guarantee? Nah. And when life happens, right? Let's just say something happens, you don't get that check. Guess what? Your now credit's going straight down.
Mm.
So now let's say you're starting with a small job right now, right? And then lo and behold, you need to buy a car. Or because you made a late payment, instead of that car, you're getting like a 2023 Honda Accord paying $300 a month. You're now doing a 2013 Honda Accord paying $400 a month.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
All you have to do is make your payments, and then don't get sabotaged into getting credit cards just to get a credit card to get 10% off from department stores. They sit, they sit on your credit for the longest time.
Hmm.
And when they sit there, you have too many cards out there. You have to pay a fine. And if you close the account, guess what? Credit goes down again. So you got to keep those accounts, but you got to keep them active. Some people say, hey, look, you should have, there's different scenarios you can do. Some people have 3 to 5 cards where you use 2 cards consistently, right? But the total amount of money between all 5 cards, you should stay under 30% usage. But you got to use the other 3 cards at least once a year. Pay those little annual fees. There's benefits to it. I like to get the cards that have money back, cash back services, Yeah. But, you can use that, but you got to use it to your advantage. And people misuse that credit card, spend too much money they don't have, and then they pay the minimum balance. And when they pay the minimum balance, the interest rate's so high, it's like, what's the point of paying? Because you're paying them and then some. You're not paying toward the item you got.
Yeah.
You're paying toward the interest of the idea of borrowing money from that bank or that credit card. And that's where people get messed up. So that's why I help people. We're not taught that stuff in school. So that's what part of the team, we have a young investors group we work with to help people teach young folks how to build their credit early, which is something I did back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
There's a long explanation on it.
It was good, though.
It was good?
It was good.
All right.
I was very entertained.
I'm telling you, that credit.
Because, that credit thing, whoo, when I was young, I had a good time, but I had to dig myself out that hole. It's hard to dig yourself out that hole. I mean, like, I had, you don't want to know what I had.
Well,
Burberry's.
Guys wearing Jordans and stuff like that. They have all this stuff going on, but I'm going to tell you what, no matter what's going on, you have an opportunity to take those items, like medical, they no longer affect your credit going toward purchasing a home as of January 1st this year.
Okay.
Right? So if you have $50,000 equity, debt income ratio is out of whack. They don't count that. Okay. It's out of whack. But I tell you, you just gotta learn as much as you can about credit. At least, don't follow YouTube. Find a professional. Right? Oh, and another thing is, and this happened to me. I ran my free annual creditreport.com. So every year you should pull that up. And I looked at all of my inquiries on my credit report. Everything was good except that one. It said Roger Lee, and it had a phone number next to it. I remember it said 757-418 something. So I called that company up, and I said, "This is Roger Lee." Said, you have something on me for I didn't pay something back in 2017? It's like, yes, we do. It's okay. What's your caller ID say I'm calling from? And it gave my phone number, right? Which I'm going to tell you all that in just a second. And then what happened was she gave me a number. I said, please call that number right now and see if I pick up. And ask him, does Roger Lee live there? And we're not going to do that right now. I said, well, look, I'll tell you what. That's not my number. Please take it off. Take it off. Now, that was within a 7-year period, right? They took it right off, and my credit score jumped right back up over 780, just like that. Now, that's just one thing. Now, there are other terms that you need lawyers to write dispute letters. That's where you got to use credit services, because there's certain ways you got to say certain things in a letter to get things taken off your credit score. Even if you pay stuff off, let's say you have a late payment from 3 years ago. And then you paid everything else perfect, and you paid off the account. That late payment's still in your credit unless you ask them to remove it. Then your credit score goes up. So it's not all about paying stuff off. It's about clearing those negative things on your credit. That's why it's so important to go through freeannualcreditreport.com. But if you don't know how to do that, I'll do that for you too. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So heard it from you. We can get our credit services.
Boom. There we go.
From you.
Yep.
Just hit you up.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So what about getting a commercial building? Is it the same process?
The commercial process is completely, it's like comparing apples or oranges. It's not as cookie cutter as it seems to be. First off, you can't find just any commercial property. you have to have from my experience, you have to run into it. And then when you run into it, you have three other people trying to get it, and there's no comparisons of the property value like on a regular house. So I'll give you an example. We have 4 houses on the street that have the same square footage, same number of bedrooms and bathrooms, right?
Okay.
And one person sells it for 200,000. That means the next house is going to be probably 200,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a commercial building, this square footage, this property might be 25,000 square feet. Right next door would be a whole 2-story property that's 50,000 square feet. This costs $1.7 million. How do we evaluate this one that's only 25,000 square feet? So it's a lot of pushing and pulling with attorneys, with appraisers. And appraisers, what they do is they do the estimate of what the value of the property is. That's what they do. So it's a lot of pushing and pulling, and there's a lot more negotiating on who gets what and how much they should get. So it can be, it's not cookie cutter like buying a residential property or getting a condo or anything like that. Yeah. Okay. But if somebody needs that, I have no problem taking care of that for them. Now the process now for residential only probably takes, for me, my personal experience, person home, I purchased a house in 22 days. Because all my stuff was in a row. Some people might might have to go out and look for houses first, and then usually it takes like 30 days once you get a contract. Commercial property, 18 months minimum of negotiating back and forth. 18 months before you get that property. Mm. Now, renting a property is different. We're talking about owning the commercial property, right? Mm-hmm. So renting is easy. You just fill out an application, you rent the spot. It costs $2,500 a month. You pay the landlord, that's it. But when you're a landlord trying to get new properties, whole nother ballgame. Yeah. But it's fun though. Yeah. It's exhausting. It's a marathon, I'll tell you that. The house buying a residential is like a quick sprint. You know what I mean? But yeah, I have fun doing that though. Yeah. It's always good to negotiate and have a good time. Oh, okay. I like to focus on, with all my clients, I like to specialize in education and negotiation. That's what it's all about. Education and negotiation. That's what it's all about. Okay. Yeah. All right. So if anybody watching has a question, to ask your question. It's okay. I forgot to hit the little banner. But yeah, ask a question, y'all. Ask questions if you want to ask a question. My name is Roger Lee. Remember, my phone number. Can I say it now? Yeah, you can tell them. 757-434-6433. You see the way I did the hand gestures like that? I'll make up stuff as I go. Okay. All right. My next question is, there was recently an article where an African-American family home was assessed way less when they thought someone of another race lived there. Is there any way that protects people of color from being discriminated against this way? It's hard to prove. I know exactly. There's quite a few different scenarios I've seen myself where African-American family was trying to sell their house and it was appraised $20,000 lower than the house next door, which is the exact same house, right? And again, the appraisers are not hired by us. They're randomly picked through the with loan officers, right? So when they go in, this is why there's no protection against it right now. But what you can do is this: whenever you're selling the home and you're trying to get the highest value, we don't know what their thoughts are or their biases are, right? So it's always a rule of thumb: take all your pictures down, no political things, no religious things that's up in the house, and keep it plain, clean across the board. Because realistically, in real estate, we can. When they know those things, when they know what ethnicity you are or what religion you are or what political route you take, they can use their own bias. And it's how can we prove it, right? Yeah. They make an estimate. It's a legal estimate. So, give or take. So what I always tell my clients, if you're military, keep that flag up there. No big deal, right? Fantastic. We're America, right? But when it comes down to family photos, any religious stuff, I even had a client, his name showed who he was, right? And I knew and we were representing the buyer. He was a buyer, right? And I had a feeling, I was like, man, something's not right. I'm gonna do something. And I just took his middle name was very let's put it like this, it was connected with the Black Panther organization back in the 70s because it was built on through because his father was a civil activist.
Mm-hmm.
So his middle name showed everything.
Mm.
So what we do now is we use his first name and we use his last name, his middle initial, which is actually on his ID. So it's okay that way.
Mm.
It helps because then the seller doesn't have any biases against the buyer, and the appraiser has no bias against the buyer as well. So we're always looking good, you know.
Okay.
I wish we had some protection, but it's just so difficult to prove.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Because, like, it happened to me. Well, kind of happened to me. First of all, they called me, asked me if I wanted to, I don't know, refinance my house.
Mm-hmm.
I said, fine. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
So the lady comes and she appraises my house, but she makes my house smaller than what it was. I was like, all my city records,
Yeah.
I even got an addition. I got a porch in the back, a sunroom in the back, but she made my house 30 square feet smaller than it was. So I was like, you know what? I don't even need this.
Oh yeah.
You good?
Yeah, it can be, and even myself, when the appraiser goes to the house, I don't show up. What I do is I leave a nice little folder, right? And inside this folder are all the homes that have sold in the last 3 to 6 months that are very same on bedrooms, square footage, bathrooms, if it's 2-story, 1-story, or if it's a ranch, whatever it may be. I put it all in there, and I do leave a candy bar there because sometimes I get hungry and I like candy, so specifically paydays. Hint, hint. Right?
I'm allergic.
Oh, I gotta change that up then. No, it's definitely a it's you don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
I have been asked by an appraiser to come with me, for me to come with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I've shown up, and we have conversations, and I said, if you like to look at it, you can. My little folder, right? He said, no, I'm good. I'm like, okay, leave him alone. I keep my distance, so that way I don't want to make them feel pressure from me. I want them to feel comfortable. So that's why I usually don't show up. I just leave the stuff here and they make their own decision what they feel comfortable with. But usually, if I'm representing a buyer,
Mm-hmm.
I've already done my homework. I know what the homes are selling for at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we put an offer in, we're giving a reasonable price. And then I've been blessed. I say blessed because a lot of my buyers recently, I'm gonna say in the last 2 years, they have equity in home when they buy it. Either $2,000, $5,000. The house I've done so far is like $10,000 of equity. It's closer to 11, like 10.5. But just like that, just like and they're winning. And I didn't show up for the appraisal. I just say, hey, I just left a little notebook there. Here you go, buddy. So yeah, it's pretty. It's subjective.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, out of curiosity, with interest rates going up now,
Yeah.
how's that? How's that for home buying?
It's crazy.
Or home selling?
I'm now getting this question all the time. Here's the beautiful part about this.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go back to where I grew up, which is down the street from here.
Okay.
My parents bought a house, $28,000. You know what the interest rate was?
What was it?
18%.
Good Lord. Okay.
Crazy, right? Never refinanced,
Mhm.
right? Sold that house in 2006, right? For over almost I think it was 285 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that they paid the house off and stuff, so all that money came back to them, right? And but my father paid a lot of interest rate, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, we went in 2020, we were at 2%, 2.5%. And now we're at 6%. Okay. The average in the last 80 years, I'm gonna say 80 years. Now it's 80 years. Has been 7%.
Mm.
When I bought, I was at in 2001, I believe I was at 6.75%. Now, I not completely understand. My house was, it wasn't 300,000-400,000. I mean, I was a young guy just coming out of college, and I'm trying to buy a house, and I'm making $10 an hour. I'm trying to do something I can afford, right?
Yeah.
But you know what though? I could have done an apartment. It actually took me to a whole nother level though. Because when I sold that house, I was like, yeah, I'm doing great. I bought 4 more houses after that.
Oh.
And I just started rolling. And it became a snowball effect. And it grew. The thing is, most people, they think that just getting an apartment's good enough. Hey, we're living. We're surviving.
Yeah.
You remember Jefferson's? Is it Jefferson? What's she? We are surviving. I remember that. And
Good time.
good times. We surviving, right?
Yeah.
No, we're supposed to be thriving. And the thing is, we're letting property build our wealth. And that's the beautiful part about it. So we can get to that point. And people sit there and say, "Oh, well, you're just at that level." Doesn't mean I ain't making sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
I made my. I have 2 kids. I made my sacrifices, and when I made those sacrifices, yeah, they were young. They're getting older now. One's 21, one's 10. You know what I mean? I spread them out. Cool. But those sacrifices I made between there has now put me in a position where I can help others. And right now, I am. And so I've been blessed enough to put myself in a position. I've lived in places well below my means. And what I mean by sacrifice, well below my means, I mean, we're talking about 1-bedroom apartment for 2 consecutive years under $500 a month, living on the other side of Virginia. You know what I mean? That's a sacrifice, right? And then what you're doing, and then you work your regular job, and then you live off 50% of your net income, not your gross. You live off 50%, and the other 50% you put away into nice little investments. And then what happens is over a 10-year period, because I promise you 10 years is going to go by eventually, right?
Yeah.
Then when life is ready, hey, look, let's go and apply this investment into another major investment, which is now going to generate us to a point where we can live for free. But most people don't do that. They're just going to keep on rating and saying, the harder I work, right? The harder I work, I can move forward. One day I'll be there. That's not the way it works. You got to get money to working for you.
Yeah.
I use property and investments. And yes, I live off 50% of my income. Great. You can too. You just got to get your mind right. And you got to sacrifice that little bit of time. I'm 40, I'll be 46 years here. So I probably took about, since I was 20, I say 10 years I sacrificed. And I put it away. Then when life said, I said, hey, you need $40,000 right now. Okay. Right? And then when I took that money, I just used that money to invest. So now that money's gone. But now, for some reason, everybody else is paying my mortgage right now because of my other properties.
Yeah.
See, and it's just, and how do you get other properties? You got to take the first step. Get a small property, live in it for a while, live well below your means. Let the market determine the value of that property. Let it build up. 3 or 4 years. If you're 25, you'll be 30 years old. You sell it. You sell it for $70,000 more. You now have $70,000 in your pocket at 30 years old. That's what's happening. I can go into deep on this because right now, the properties I do have, I have it in a trust. Because if something should happen to me, my daughters get it.
Okay.
But the ones that's underage, I have somebody else taking care of it until she becomes of age. But to receive all that money for my insurance policies and everything, she has to have a graduate degree, college degree. And then when she turns 29, she can buy her first house I got the money for a down payment for already set up. So now my daughter don't have to work as hard. I'm making a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So now my daughter don't have to live the way I was living, right? She don't have to, she don't have to, cut 50% of her stuff, right? She's just gonna receive it because that's my gift to her, to both of them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta sacrifice. Now some of us not willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, you gotta sacrifice. And trust me, and that's the difference between I mean, are we going to go to Starbucks every day? Are we gonna pay for Jordans this year? Or because we know our little boys, I got nephews, they want the J's, right?
Yeah.
They 6 years old. Now they turn 7. So you get J's every 6 months because their feet growing so fast.
Yeah.
Then the expectation, hey, I gotta get $300 J's. Well, maybe you should be investing in Air Jordans through the stock market. Wait a minute. That's a message right there. Hold on to that message. So whatever you buy consistently, like I own Nike. You see, I got Nike on, right? I own Under Armour. I own Honda. I own Aquafina. I'm an owner of it. I'm an owner of Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Are we on Zoom right now?
Mm-mm.
Whatever we're on. I own it, right? And so when you pay into the things you already pay into, and remember, I took that 50% of my net and I put it over here so I can, all the things I usually pay for.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I pay for some Nikes, I get paid. Right now there's a transaction over here at the sneaker store at the mall. I'm getting paid right now. Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
Now, will I lose some of that money? Absolutely. You know what I do?
What?
I invest more money into it. Because you think it's always going to go down?
Yeah.
Because what's going to stay here? We are on Apple is going to stay. Starbucks is going to stay. What else is going to stay? Walmart's going to stay. I remember Walmart was like, when I was working at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I started investing in Walmart when I was in college. Where was I? I was frying chicken. I was in a deli.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like $60 a share. Yeah. I bought quite a few shares.
Mm.
And I was
a good thought.
Yeah. And guess what? I still shop at Walmart.
Mm.
I did name brand that time. I didn't even say that. But the point is, you gotta, and if you're gonna spend the money on something, spend the money on something and put your money in the stock market so it does its thing. Or talk to your financial advisor, see what's best fit for you and your family. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Or you can just go to our podcast right now on the March and More on Spotify. You got a whole hour, 42-minute session on financial freedom.
Okay.
You have to plug that in there.
Yeah, put it in. Okay. They have a podcast too, y'all.
Yeah.
What is it again?
Marching to More. The marching, like you're marching down the street. The number 2, MORE. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You're going to find about home loans. You're going to talk about different leaders in the Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads community. You're going to find a lot. Even about something in the water coming up. I got something secret that's coming out soon.
Okay.
Did y'all know we having TED Talks out here now?
Mm-mm. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I got the person who set it all up, sitting right here in this chair right here.
Oh.
Yeah. It's all set up. Don't worry about it. I got you covered.
You got me covered?
Okay. So what we need to do is we just keep marching to more.
Okay.
Right? That's all we're doing.
All right.
That's all.
Okay. All right. So my last question is, what are some common mistakes people make when either buying or selling a home?
Let's focus on buyers first. Common mistakes. When you get a pre-approval, meaning the bank has given you X number of dollars, let's assume $300,000,
Mm-hmm.
and we're out looking for a house, and you decide to go get yourself another credit card from Kohl's, or you decide, you know what, I need a new car. If you go buy an expensive car like that, what's going to any large item or use additional credit services, we've been pre-approved based on where you are right now, right? Mm-hmm. And so what happens when you buy a car, get another credit card, your debt to income ratio gets imbalanced, right? And so when it becomes imbalanced, the loan is no longer valid. We cannot give you a loan anymore. Mm. So the rule of thumb is 43%. Mm-hmm. They've gone up to 55% depending on what type of loan it is, but that's a whole nother story. We'll get that later on. You can go to the podcast, figure all that out. But it literally, if you stay on 40%, meaning your debt income, the gross income, the most amount before taxes, and all the things you pay for already, your rent, your water bill, your cell phone bill, all those things, as long as those things stay below 43% of your gross income, you're okay. By adding in that extra car payment, you're no longer at 43%. You're like at 50%. So guess what? The people over here, the lender that wants to give you $300,000, said, nope, we're no longer giving it to you because you're out of the range of our comfort zone. Yeah. Right? You need to appease to us. That's what they're saying. We're going to give you $300,000. Make sure you stay in that same zone. So that's where that's buyers they mess up. And then buyers also think that I get paid before we have a conversation. Don't worry. When you're a buyer, don't worry about paying me. So I do get compensated. My brokerage at Coastal pays me, right? At Coastal pays me. Mm-hmm. But my service is not rendered until you close in the house. So I have every ounce of my body is to get you into that home and to make sure you're successful. Because if you're not successful, I don't get paid. Now, people are going to ask, how do I get paid, right? The brokerage on my end representing the buyer versus the brokerage that represents the seller. we agree at the beginning how much the agents will receive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the seller agrees that they will take it out the equity they built in that house to pay both the listing agent and the selling agent. And so we negotiate that. And we said negotiate it, and it has nothing to do with the buyer. The seller makes that decision.
Okay.
So my conversations when I have with people,
Mm-hmm.
complimentary. Me going out showing you houses, you don't charge me anything for that, right? And when I go out to eat, I don't charge you for that. We just go do what we got to do to get the house that you need to be in. Even with renters, I don't charge for that. I just go out and show it to you and have a good time, right?
Okay.
So that's where a lot of people get the misconception saying, oh, he's working for free. Oh, he's got to get paid somewhere. Yeah, I do. After we're successful.
Yeah.
Don't you want to be successful? I'm all about success.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's from the buyer's end.
Okay.
Seller's end, I would say, okay, so here's what we do. On the seller's end, where you're selling your house, I know that this is your house. And you feel like this is worth $1 million.
Yes.
You put in that extra deck. You put in that sunroom. You got brand new windows, right?
Yeah.
You got all it, spick and span, nice and pretty. Got new floor and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a 3-bedroom, two bathroom house that's 2,000 square feet, and you think it's worth $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
When the house next door just sold for 350.
Mm-hmm.
Please understand, the appraiser is going to appraise that house at 350.
Not $1 million.
Not $1 million.
Oh.
So yes, we could put it on the market,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll be honest with you. I'd rather have a great relationship with my clients,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd rather walk away and let some other agent fail than me fail for you. I would rather price it appropriately, get it sold so you get the highest and top value for it, and get you into the right home that you really want to be in. All right. I'm not about failure, but I am a realistic person. Because remember, when we are selling the house, the buyer is looking at other properties too. And so when they look at the other properties, they're going to go to your property and say, okay, we think this house is worth 350. We're going to offer 350. You think it's $1 million, right? They see that. So we don't want to make sure, we want to make sure that we execute appropriately so they can buy the house. We want everybody to work together.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like on TV how, oh, this agent doesn't do this and da, 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 da. We don't do all that. We work together. We're on the same vibe. Like me and the other real estate agent, we are here to execute appropriately to make sure that you get the highest top value and their client gets into a home. So yeah, you overprice. That's one thing. When I walk in, I'm gonna smell. How many ideas? How many times I go into a house and the house smelled like some funky smells in there?
Really?
Well, guess what? We gotta walk back out. It's not red. It's not red. No one's supposed to buy a house where it smells nasty to them, right? Sellers don't realize you gotta. Well, I'll tell you in that second. We're gonna take trash out, but you gotta have it functioning properly. You can't have your carpet. It's gotta look nice and neat. We understand if the carpet needs to be replaced. Well, a couple of things. The buyer's going to ask you to replace it. You can choose to replace it, or you don't have to, or they're going to ask for a lower price, or they're going to walk away from the deal. That's how sellers mess up. If they really need to sell it, we really need to do what we can to sell it, even if we have to lower the price and let them take it as is, or we clean the carpet, or we replace the carpet. There's a lot of different options for you.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing about it is most of my sellers have been pretty compliant. I've had one seller. They said, I refuse to get the carpet done. I said, fantastic. So I was smart enough to get something done. We got the highest top value for it. I guess we didn't need it. But we did move all those armoires out and put it in. I put all the extra stuff that was in the bedrooms. I opened up a storage unit and put it all in the storage unit.
Mm-hmm.
So we could sell the house at top value. They had a lot of stuff in there. So whether you have like a people that's hoarding and everything like that, I just grab my team and say, guys, take it out, put it in storage.
And they let you?
Yeah, get permission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know how hoarders are.
Yeah, I know.
But they want to sell their house.
Yeah, and you got to see the value in it. So, and I know it's a emotional event for hoarders, and it's a psychological event for hoarders. They don't want things to go away, right? I get it. When we're in a situation like that, then we have someone else talk to them and try to figure that stuff out. But I've had them.
Yeah.
I've had them. Just got to put it in storage. It's still yours. Just put it in storage. We'll put it back when you get the new house. Sellers also, they're always wondering, if they're selling, where am I going to live? And so I try to have a system set up where you have an option. I can negotiate that in our price. I can say, hey, look, the sellers need to sell a house before we buy a new house, right? We just need to get on the contract. But if we don't, I'll negotiate this in the contract. If we don't move out before the 30 days is up before we close, we want a rent back option, meaning your sellers are now renting to the buyers.
Okay.
Right? And that's another option out there for people. And that's why I'll negotiate all that. Some people are 30 days, 60 days. I've done it up to 90 days before. And they were okay with it for the buyer situation. Yeah, that's where we were. But the buyer was in a situation where they could stay where they were staying for a longer period of time. So they would do it. Some people, they couldn't do it. They had to get out, but they had to pay their price. There's so many different options. And what I would advise people is, you'll never have these opportunities unless you get in the game. Right? And it's scary. Yeah. I guess that's why I do what I do. And I always tell people, when I start getting worried, that's when you start getting worried. Okay. Do I look worried?
You don't look worried.
Yeah. When you do this for so long, you've done it for a personal basis as well as your health. To me, it's easy. Right. But I empathize with those people. It's a big deal. I understand you can buy a house one time, you can live in it. It is what it is. I get it. I remember the day I went to my first meeting with my realtor in 2001. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, whatever you say.
Yeah.
But I learned real quick. So, but yeah, it's just, you got to find the right realtor too that can relate to you, that's empathetic, that shows up. And also, you want a realtor that answers the phone. Whew, that's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I got a question. Can you answer the phone? Please call me back within, 6-7 hour period. You know what I mean?
Today, that day.
That's a big deal for me.
Yeah.
So, and the good news is the entire team is set up where, my loan officer, they call me within minutes. My appraiser, my title was with me. Title company was with me the other day, gathering documents for a client of mine. I mean, it's the culture I built around the March No More team. And that's how and it's a culture from that coastal. We're just helping people out. We're doing the help. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything else you would like to tell the people?
If you're interested in buying or selling a home, I would always start off with a strategic consultation with myself, Roger Lee, the March No More real estate team at Coastal Realty. My direct number is 757-434-6433. Right? If you want to go to marchingtomore.com, you will see myself, my business partner, credit repair, everybody laid out for you. You'll talk about my background. Again, me being here. Business partner Donovan McFadden. He is ex-military. Started the same time I started back then. Between me and him, we've done over $10 million in sales in the past 2 years. I don't know if that's impressive to people, but I'm pretty impressed with it. You know what I mean? And all we do is do one thing at a time. We just help people. We just found that number at the beginning of January because somebody else told us, because somebody just told us what we did. And I had no idea because we just focus on one person at a time. But yeah, podcast is out there. Podcast will talk about loan, how to get a loan. We'll talk about credit repair from our credit repair services. The people we help with Hope Family Services, with Star Havens up there. We focus on, there's some podcasts of dealing with some people from Something to Water, and also the great, how can I put it, the growth of Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads, right? So the talent that's out here, musician wise, there's the reason Pharrell has something in the water out here is because he knows there's talent out here. It's sitting right there. Y'all know what ba 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 is, right? For McDonald's. You know who wrote that, right?
Who wrote it?
Pusha T.
Oh, okay.
Right? Pusha T set that up and sold it to McDonald's, right? So now Pusha T's he's from Portsmouth. Missy Elliott's out here, you know. Timberland's out here. So we're a city that's growing. We're a city with opportunity. We don't have to go to Atlanta and get something done. We don't have to go to Miami any longer. All the growth is right here. All we have to do is we have to get some people. I'm not gonna get political, but we gotta start making moves, and obviously vote and stuff is important.
Yes, voting is very important.
But we just got to make the right moves and seek out opportunities in here. We how many community colleges we out here? 8 of them, one per city, including Virginia Peninsula up in Hampton, Virginia. We got Norfolk State University, Old Dominion. We got the AAA Norfolk Admirals out here, AAA Norfolk Tides. We just opened up a casino in Portsmouth, Virginia, which now the property values jumping up around that time out there as well. And then we're about to get another casino.
Oh, we ain't happy about that though.
We're not happy about that?
I mean, because yes, I am so happy that we have the casino in Portsmouth, but our tax rate is 1.3. They say they haven't raised taxes, but they raised our property values. They've been raising our property values since,
which increases taxes.
So basically, you are raising our taxes, even though you say the rate is at 1.30.
Yeah,
you raised it. Like we're dumb.
But again, that's in Portsmouth. But Portsmouth is only 20 minutes from Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is only 20 minutes from Chesapeake. Chesapeake is only 20 minutes from Suffolk. So we're all right here.
Yeah.
You can. But Chesapeake has for the last time I looked up, has the highest tax out here versus Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is
we
lower.
got the highest.
Oh, Portsmouth?
Portsmouth has the highest.
Oh, okay, all right. But and the thing is, where else you gonna have the opportunity to, unless you're on I was living in Chicago for a while. You had to go to a what do you call it, sovereign grounds for Indian tribes. That's how you had the casinos out there.
Oh.
Yeah, so you had to do that. Here we're starting to roll that thing. So Native Americans, yeah. I'm part Native American. I'm Halawa Indian. Indian tribe out near the Nottoway tribe out there where Nat Turner was in Southampton County.
Okay.
So that's some whole other level. But the point is, we have entertainment here. We have opportunities here. We don't have to go to California to get things done.
Yeah.
We have movies we're making right now, and I'm connected with all those people. Yeah. With all those artists out here, myself, Donovan McFadden, we're connected with these people. And that's why we were out at the Mighty Dream with Pharrell last October for, I think it was 4 days. We stayed out there and was listening to all the new education opportunities that's out here, the music opportunities out here. UPS donated millions of dollars to new entrepreneurs in this area. And that's the point. We're all about growth. And, if you want to get in right now, especially with property values, they're where they are, right? Look at it 10 years ago, they were here. We have a spike in property values over the past, even after the 2008 situation. We have a spike in the number of homes that are available, right? And the property value is going up so quickly. Everybody else is leveling off. We shot straight up. We're leveling off now significantly, right? But if you get in, you can be a part of it. Now, if situations come up where, you have to rent, I get it. But somebody asked me in 2021, they said, if I buy right now, can I sell in 2022? I was like, you know what? You absolutely can. You can sell in 2022. Had one particular situation, young man, mind you, school teacher, middle school teacher, goes in, buys a townhouse, 1,700 square feet, $268,000. Paying 2.75% interest rate, right? Pays $268,000. I put him in a position. I called him the next November. I was like, hey, let's go look at these new builds out in Suffolk. House is $400,000. Okay, let's look at it. No big deal. But then, because I'm the real estate agent that you need to go with, Roger Lee, I actually saw a home literally walking distance, maybe 500 yards away from his house, same square footage, same everything, selling for $342,000.
Hmm.
And I started thinking to myself, 342, 268. There's a 22,000, there's $60,000 sitting right there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I called him up. I said,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time for you to move. Because I had already set the stuff with the new build and try to figure out interest rate for him for that.
Mm-hmm.
Already taken care of. We sold the house for $355.
Mm.
So now he's paying the same mortgage that he was paying for the 1,700 square foot. For now, he pays the same mortgage he does for a 2,400 square foot brand new build. The difference, Chesapeake, and he moved 15 minutes to Suffolk. That's the difference. You know what I mean? And no, mind you, that was one particular situation.
Yeah.
But if you're not in the game, you can't play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by game, right? Everybody. Just want to make sure. So yeah, it's just, it's fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But
some of them don't like playing.
Well,
they serious.
And here's the thing. When you choose somebody who's, I think it's a serious situation.
Yeah.
It's a serious situation based on perception. It's your first time buying a house. This is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Or my entire family, I've never owned anything, or no one's ever owned anything in my life. It's a big deal. I understand the value, the perception is really high. For me and the team, we've done this before. We've done this multiple times before. We never have put anybody in a position where their house broke. We never put anybody in a position where they put them in a house that was literally the house was breaking down and falling in. We take care of everybody. Look at all our reviews through marchtomore.com. Or if you look up Rain, you can look up Roger Lee, Donovan McFadden. Look at all the reviews that we have in there. Everybody's come from, even if you're renting,
mm-hmm.
Lady calls me up in August, says, hey, look, I need a rental. All right, cool. She had all the credentials to buy a house, but didn't know it. 20-some years. She's been qualified for 20 years, but never did it.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's done it. And she was one of those situations where she had equity in the house when she bought it. So the day she signed, she had money she could use. So the money she put down, she pretty much got back.
That's good.
Yeah. And some people get confused also. I have a loan, maybe some loan officer will explain things like this. They'll say, hey, put 20% down, $80,000 if you have it, right? That money's still yours. Well, to that person, that money's not really in their bank account anymore.
Yeah.
What he means is when you put that money into a house, whatever amount you want, 20,000, 10,000, 3,000, it is still your money because that money has now, let's say the price is 300,000, you put 80,000, you're now paying on $220,000. But the difference that 80,000 is considered equity, right? You can always borrow the money from your own equity and use it as much as you want. It's still your money. Instead of having it in the bank, you have it into your property. You just take it out of your property.
Okay.
And when you sell it, you get it right back anyways.
Yeah.
But can you do that when you're renting?
No. Question. So which was better, a 15-year loan or paying your 30 twice a month?
Oh, that's a good question. Twice a month is the same amount. Like if the mortgage was $2,000, paying $1,000 one part of the month, $1,000 second part of the month.
No, if my mortgage is $2,000 and I pay $2,000 twice a month.
Oh, if you can do it, I don't see why not.
So I do the 30 versus the 15.
I would do the 30, so you always have that lower payment just in case life happens. You can pay the minimum payment.
Mm-hmm.
But the rule of thumb is, if you can do it, go ahead and do it. But I would also talk to a financial advisor first, because you never know. You could be putting money into other investments that could net you more income. Mm-hmm. So let's say you pay the house off in 15 years, right? Mm-hmm. And the house is $300,000 due to interest rates. You end up paying $400,000 or $550,000, right? You paid in 15 years. Congratulations. Or you could have put that extra $1,000 into a hard money lender investment group where they can net you in a matter of 15 years, $50,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's much more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say talk to them, figure that part out first. If you can do it, just think about all your avenues that you have available for you. Because in me, I read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
First thing you do, pay your tithes. Second thing you do is pay yourself. Then you pay all your debts. Right? Well, when we go back, you put your money, you save your money. That's why I live off 50% of my net income for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, now I'm living this way. So it took me a while. So those people that think, oh, he's just doing it. No, I sacrifice. You should sacrifice too. I don't have to have those Jordans.
Yeah.
Right? I wear the same sneakers. My feet have not grown bigger since I was 20 years old. So I wear the same sneakers.
I can't say that.
Okay.
I had a baby. His feet low, so
Yeah.
I wasn't that lucky.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, so just, it's a great opportunity for everybody. And then people always ask, when should I buy a house? I always say now, right? No matter what the economy is, right? Because if the economy's slow, you buy now, because then when it gets fast, you ride that ride on the way up. If the body's going fast, you better get on the ride before it slows down, right? But if you continue to rent, you're paying 100% interest because none of that money comes back to you.
True.
Message.
True.
Message. So yeah, every dime. Now, if you could, let me give you another. If you were inside of a house, you have your own business, you have your own LLC. I know this stuff is all over the internet. Let's keep this stuff simplified.
Okay.
2,000 square feet house, right?
Okay.
You have a sock business where you knit socks or you bedazzle jeans or whatever. Or you do hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a 500 square foot room that does not have a bed in there. Cannot have a bed. It's a bedroom, but it has no bed. And you have sewing kits, you have art stuff, you have your business in there.
Mm-hmm.
That 500 square feet is a quarter of the square footage of the house. So here's the benefit of owning. Let's say you pay, and I'm trying to get the numbers right, $2,000 a month. That means $500 a month is now being deducted as a write-off toward your business.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means if you're paying $2,000 a month, that actually you're 500 times 12, $6,000 of the total amount of mortgage you paid, which is of the $24,000 a year. I take 2,000 times 12 is 24,000, and I take $500 is going toward the business. So 500 times 12 is 6,000. So of the 24,000, $6,000 is now being deducted. So now, instead of you paying taxes of, let's say you earned $100,000 this year, and you wrote off $15,000 worth of stuff, you write off an additional $6,000, so you pay less in your taxes. Can't do that when you rent. It's crazy.
All right. Well, we have to wrap this up. It was such a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself. I have a lot to say.
I see. We have to have a part two.
I'm trying to tell you, it gets deeper, y'all. It gets deeper.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you much. Y'all be easy. Roger Lee, 757-434-6433. Marshall Moore at Coastal Realty.